provide you with a brief summation of today's discussion addressed by our distinguished panelists, using several quotes taken from the autobiographies for that purpose. First, let us reflect on what Dr. Du Bois once wrote regarding the primary purpose of the autobiography. This is taken from Dusk of Dawn, Chapter 8, which is entitled Propaganda and War. In it, Du Bois talks about the intersections of the autobiography, history, and politics writing. My discussions of the concept of race, of white and colored worlds, are not to be regarded as digressions from the history of my life. Rather, my autobiography is a digressive illustration and exemplification of what race has meant in the world in the 19th and 20th centuries. In keeping with Du Bois' sentiment, in his book entitled Autobiography and Black Politics, Radicalization in 20th Century America, Kenneth Monster posits that, quote, Dusk of Dawn provides the most significant illustration that books by African Americans about race theory are often written in the form of autobiography. If Du Bois claims to find little lore in the autobiography in general, he nevertheless proposes that his autobiography's interests will lie in its narrative theoretical apparatus, which examines the particular relationship between autobiographical truth and political theoretical truth. Thus, Du Bois and more recent scholars position the Black autobiography as significant to critical race theory, history, and politics research. Dr. Evans mentioned earlier about Du Bois as a teacher and how that position is further examined through his autobiographies, and I'm going to share a quote from a chapter entitled Of Work and Wealth. So he offers the audience some insight into his own pedagogical style, to which I'm sure some of us can relate. I fought earnestly against posing before my class. I tried to be natural and honest and frank, but it was bitter hard. What would you say to a soft brown face of gray black hair which knelt suddenly? Do you trust white people? You do not, and you know that you do not, much as you want to, yet you rise and lie and say that you do. You must say it for the student's salvation and the world's. You repeat that they must trust them, that most white folk are honest, and all the while you are lying. At every level, silent eye there knows that you are lying. And miserably, you sit and lie on to the glory of God. Scholars like Bell Hooks and others have more recently written about transformational learning as a process through which to inspire social change. Transformational education, she asserts, happens when teachers are painfully honest and when students are challenged to trouble their own concepts of society. Another quote that I'd like to share that has been mentioned as well. This comes from Dusk of Dawn, Chapter 7, The Colored World Within. And he is referencing education as a community and communal enterprise. In the African communal group, ties of family and blood, of mother and child, of group relationship made the group leadership strong, even if not always toward the highest culture. Here, in subtle but real ways, the communalism of the African clan can be transferred to the Negro American group, implemented by higher ideals of human accomplishment through education and culture, which have arisen and may further arise through contact of Black folk within the modern world. So that, again, is Du Bois on education as a community enterprise and the African tradition within that. And just a couple more. This one from Darkwater, Chapter 2, The Souls of White Folk, which has been mentioned several times today. So this is Du Bois on racial tension. But what on earth is whiteness that one should so desire it? Then always somehow, some way, silently but clearly, I am given to understand that whiteness is the ownership of the earth forever and ever. Amen. More recent critical race scholarship has turned its attention to this very topic, that is the concept of white privilege, cultural imperialism, and marginalization as the problem to be studied. In conclusion, I think the following quote from Du Bois's Black Reconstruction in America, published in 1935, is fitting. Had it not been for the Negro schools and colleges, the Negro would, to all intents and purposes, have been driven back to slavery. Had it not been for the Negro schools and colleges, the Negro would, to all intents and purposes, have been driven back to slavery. Thank you.